Level 70, the anomaly. Sid looks calmer for having reached a milestone in the investigation. Right then, let's head back to Ralger's Reach. Jesse will want to know exactly what we've been up to. By Ralger. Okay, he's right here then. Welcome back, Zilly. I'm told you've been blazing a trail for us. The way I hear it, our investigation would have long since ground to a halt without you. Realize you're mostly interested in saving the world, but I want you to know how much I appreciate you helping the company out like this. Frankly, we need all the help we can get. What with our esteemed president diving headlong into the jaws of danger without a word of warning to anyone. Irresponsible doesn't begin to describe it. You didn't tell her? I did, after a fashion, though I may have exercised some executive discretion. I'm no stranger to your lone endeavors or your habit of confusing personal and company interests, but just because you've always done things a certain way doesn't make it the right way. And until you wake up to your responsibilities, I'm going to keep reminding you of them. But such irksome matters aside, aren't you just the most adorable little thing? He followed you here of his own free will, did he? Which means he's basically part of the family, and why wouldn't he grant us exclusive rights to use his likeness? Shall we start off with a simple clockwork version? They'll be queuing up in the streets. Oh, you can't be... What in the seven hells has gotten into you? Listen, if I've caused you any distress, I apologize, but I will not have you comment on our guest marketability. Yeah. Where are Biggs and Wedge? Shouldn't they be back by now? No, I thought you might have sent them off on another unauthorized mission. Last I heard from them, they said they were scouring Omega Control for anything useful. Would have been a good while ago now, though. I don't like the sound of this. Though we have all the necessary permissions, the area is technically a theater of war, and one littered with unknown elegant artifacts to boot. Something may well have befallen them. We'd best take the Excelsior and go find them. Leaving again so soon. Nero, Zilly, I want you two to accompany the chief. Make sure he doesn't do anything rash or take any detours. Consider it done. I shall bring him back even if I have to drag him by the goggle straps. Quay. I can't quay. Want to come along, eh? It's probably for the best. If we leave you here, Jesse is liable to take a mold of you. Right, let's get moving. I'll bring the airship to Gridania. Wait for me at the landing. Alright, to Gridania we go. Farline Canopy. 1 second. Alright. Yeah, better focus. It won't let me jump over the railing. I have to take the stairs. Looks like we're all here. Let's make haste to the Cartno Flats. Been here a few times. Going ahead to the control room. Zilly will follow as soon as we've moored the Excelsior. Oh no. What the hell is that? Photoplepus. Seven Hells, Biggs, Wedge. Are you alright? Answer me. Chief, silly. A monster appeared out of thin air. Lip. Targets exhibit vital signs. Mission failed. However, Alpha Group members exhibit heightened levels of stress. Objective fulfilled. Omega, you set that thing upon them? Affirmative. I am able to create simple life forms instantaneously at any temporal or spatial coordinate. Such beings may pose a negligible threat to you, however. They are more than sufficient to grievously wound or kill the majority of your kind. I could instigate a massacre at any time, and you would be powerless to prevent it. Do I detect a shift in policy? Quantity over quality? Negative. My objective remains unchanged. Evolution through formidable opposition. However, in the course of seeking suitable subjects, I observed an anomaly, those whom you call heroes. History shows numerous instances of otherwise unremarkable individuals who have defeated vastly superior beings, who triumph in the face of apparently impossible odds, performed what are popularly termed miracles. This has occurred too frequently to be dismissed as mere statistical aberration. I seek to understand this phenomenon. Should it prove to be of benefit, I will incorporate it into my own evolution. It is for this purpose that I brought you to my domain. He looks angry. So putting on a show at the Yawn and planting Alpha in our midst was but a part of your grand plan. By your victories, you have demonstrated the selfsame anomaly. You are fit to remain my subjects. You will continue participating in my experiment. Withdraw, and I will commence the extermination of your kind. This is an order, a threat, a declaration of war. I am an enemy to all life upon this star. Done it now. It seems we have much to ponder, but first things first, we must tend to our friends. Quickly, help me carry them. Colin and Alpha took our two wounded to the Conjurer's Guild. The chief bids me lend a hand, so I suppose I shall take myself there too. You, meanwhile, are to return to Rauger's Reach and report to Jesse. Okay, guess we're going back to Rauger's Reach. Hey, Jesse. Zilly, I heard there was trouble. What in the Seven Hells happened? What? Omega loosed a fiend on Biggs and Wedge. Toying with people's lives like it was all a game. This is madness. Sir, will they be alright? The worst is past, but they still drift in and out of consciousness. They'll remain in the Conjurer's care for a time. Then all we can do is wait and pray. Ah, God, strike me down for a fool. I should have been more mindful of the dangers. I should never have. To never have what? Activated Omega? You know as well as I do that there was no other way to defeat Shinryu. But is this truly any better? All of mankind is being held to ransom, and as the one who activated Omega, I bear the responsibility. The responsibility? Just the kind of thing the new you would say. You are deluding yourself, Garland. We are scientists, not heroes. Even you must concede your talents do not extend to combat. The old you understood this far better. He only looked forwards and gave himself wholly to science. And then you changed. You styled yourself a pacifist and started spouting tripe about the proper uses of technology. 'Twas in the wake of your old man's mishap at Boja, I believe. Calm yourself. All I wish to say is embrace who you are, a man who devotes his mind to making the impossible possible. With little prospect of restoring the stasis system, I'm afraid we have no recourse but to continue participating in Omega's test. Assuming Midgar Sormar has the right of it, we face a legion of foes from history, both real and imagined. Though I may not be the one that charges into the fray, I shall fight beside you as best I know how. That said, it will inevitably fall to you to administer the coup de grace, old friend, so please, for Biggs and Wedge and all of us, don't lose. Quay. I reckon the little scamp is trying to encourage us. We've fallen far indeed to earn its pity, said the former tribunus. Until such time as Omega next extends us an invitation, you will find me analyzing the data from our investigation. Good evening to you. Before they were attacked, Biggs and Wedge discovered a tombstone. I shall examine its contents and make the information available on the terminal over there as I extract it. Feel free to refer to it whenever the occasion arises. There's no telling when Omega will summon us, but we must all see that we are ready when it does. Fear not, old friend, we'll get through it together, somehow or other. The anomaly complete. Magitech Terminal. Blip initializing. Welcome, how may I assist you today? Access the Savage Initiative? Good evening, valued employee. Thank you always for your tireless efforts. Tell me, are you getting enough rest? Are you sleeping and eating well? Are your eyes not blurry from overuse? Here at Garland Ironworks, your well-being is our priority. To that end, we have introduced a program to address work-related stress. Dubbed the Savage Initiative, for we must be savage on stress, it adds a touch of relaxation to the daily grind. For its maiden feature, we are pleased to bring you Mending Melodies, songs that soothe body and soul. Is this unlike the Savage Raids? This particular piece was composed and recorded for our benefit by the minstrel of no small renown. It has been proven to possess potent healing properties and promises to promote happiness as well as stimulate creativity. Please be forewarned, however, that prolonged exposure may overstimulate the imagination, leading to the augmentation of one's memory. It is recommended that you enjoy the song in moderation. With that, I bid you a fulfilling day of striving for freedom through technology. Okay. Well, we're not going to do Savage today, certainly not. I've only done the actual raid once. We're going to unlock all of the raid, and we'll do Savage later. Later. Read Omega Records. Technologist Record 1. Leap Buzz. I leave this record in hopes that future generations may have a window into the past. I'm a technologist of the Allegan Empire charged with conducting etherochemical research. Owing to the classified nature of this information, I am unable to disclose my identity. Lest you are unfamiliar, etherochemistry is a wondrous field of science established by none other than the great Emperor Zande, who reigned until some 170 years ago. In his boundless wisdom, he shone the light of science upon the enigma that was magic and exploited such discoveries as were made for the betterment of the realm. Since its inception, etherochemistry has blessed Alleg with unprecedented prosperity, such prosperity as could be believed to endure for millennia, nay, for eternity. While Emperor Zande's contribution to the science was immeasurable, we technologists who follow in his footsteps have also done our part for progress. Our greatest breakthrough came 20 years ago when we finally succeeded in activating the weapon. At first it communicated in some unknown language, as if sensing our confoundment, it began to acquire our tongue. In mere moments, it mastered it, and it called itself Omega. Okay. Lifbuzz. We first discovered Omega some 100 years prior. It was excavated from deep within the earth, where it had lain for veritable eons, as though a fossil. Soil samples collected at the site told a startling tale. Omega originates not from this star. Yet another source of mystery was its condition. Among the many scars it bore, there were those that could not be explained by its impact with the ground alone. At the Emperor's behest, we studied Omega intensely and in secret. Now everything about it was beyond the comprehension of our sciences, and it instilled us with fear and awe of what lies beyond the skies. But then came a momentous discovery. Omega was ever so slowly repairing itself by absorbing the surrounding ether. Here we found a common ground with etherochemistry and set about to expediting Omega's repairs by infusing it with ether. In the course of observing the process, we had attained many cues that gave rise to myriad new techniques. And then within my generation, we succeeded in awakening that which had long lain dormant, Omega's behavioral systems, or its consciousness, if you will. While its functions are yet limited, it is fully capable of communication. It has even begun forging for itself a face, as if seeking to bridge the gap between us. Truly, Omega is a miracle of technology. Its discovery has advanced our civilization hundreds of years, and given time it will advance it hundreds of years more. Through our research, the Empire Star will rise to heretofore unimaginable heights. Indeed, I envy the generations to come who will live to glory in the realm at her zenith. Glory be to Allig, long may she endure. Okay. Closing session. Thank you for your visit. Loot. Loot. Level 70. Return to the Rift. Jesse greets you with a grave expression. Zilly, I'm glad you're here. In case you haven't heard, we've observed a huge surge of anomalous energy coming from the yawn. I have a nasty feeling this means Omega's ready to go ahead with the next stage of its experiment. But Master Garland is on his way, so let's hear what he has to say. Care to share your thoughts on this, Chief? Our colleagues on the ground have reported the appearance of mysterious floating structures inside the yawn. If you recall, we were investigating a similar anomaly when Alpha and Altaroid made their appearance. Omega certainly knows how to get our attention. I blush to recall the eagerness with which we plunged into the abyss, ignorant of the warped gladiatorial contest that awaited us within. But what a staggering collection of opponents, plucked from the pages of both history and fiction for their ability to pose a threat to Omega. And should you prevail against these interdimensional champions, what then shall be your prize? Why, a battle against the most devastating weapon this world has ever seen. How marvelous. He says with eyes of flame, for once I wish you were being sarcastic. Anyway, the energy surge. Based on our previous experience, it seems highly probable that it is our signal to rejoin the fray. Needless to say, it is an invitation we cannot refuse, not when the alternative is Omega unleashing its creations on Eorzea. Well, Zilly, are you ready to answer the call? Let's do this. I'm afraid Biggs and Wedge won't be answering any calls just yet. They're still mending from the ambush in the control center. Yes, of course. We'll just have to struggle on without them for the time being. Don't worry, Nero and I will see to it that you receive all the support you need. Defeat is not an option. Way. I do believe Alpha here agrees. Oh, that reminds me, I've got something special for you, little fellow. Come with me. Got him a uniform. Look at him. All decked out. Custom-made Ironworks uniform. Oh, you do look smart, I must say. He is part of the expedition team, after all, and considering the dangers lurking in that rift, it's only right that we give him some protective equipment. Very thoughtful of you, Jesse, and there I was thinking you were just sizing him up for a new range of merchandise. Unlike you, I can do two things at once. I wish I had that uniform. What about my protective equipment? Yeah, what about my protective equipment? You are a famous hero who can afford her own gear. I'll bet you could buy a house for the cost of what you're wearing. Joking aside, I doubt even a fine uniform like ours would last long on you, what with all the fighting you get up to. We'd need to tailor something specific to your needs and make it out of far more durable materials. By durable, I mean expensive. Saying that, if you were in a position to provide said materials, I'm sure our artisans would happily work day and night, all blissful smiles and sparkly eyes, to make you something suitable. Fascinating though this discussion of ironworks garmenture undoubtedly is, might our time not be better spent, say, traveling to the Yawn? Omega awaits. What a yawn. Just go to the Peering Stones. Just so purpley. How inviting. I'm ready when you are. Zilly, say the word and we'll take the plunge. Commence the battle for return to the rift. Okay, so am I gonna have to fight things before I can even fight things? Yeah. Like last time. Right then, into the Yawn we go. I am with you, mortals, along with what scant wisdom I can provide. The last one was DeltaScape. Ethereal Rift, Interdimensional Rift. Well, the rift seems much as it did before. And we appear to be mercifully solid. Ah, but I do detect some changes. If I am not mistaken, there are fewer eggs floating in the ether. Welcome, Alpha Group. Your prompt arrival is appreciated. Omega, it would seem your experiment continued in our absence. Affirmative. Progress has been satisfactory. Approximately 50% of the test subjects have been eliminated. Lord, already? Half of them? Each test world hosts an ongoing contest wherein the strong eliminate the weak. The process is certain, conclusive, inevitable. Every result matches the predicted outcome. Every result except yours. Blip. Do these images cause you distress? Please examine them closely. Without suitable stimulation, you may not exceed your calculated probability of success. Like, motivating us, that's nice. Your survival is crucial to my study. Through you, I must continue to explore the contradiction I have discovered in your otherwise impotent kind. That's nice. The ability to triumph against overwhelming odds is one which I must acquire. Foolish machine, what hast thou to show for all the years that have passed since the culmination of our war? Naught save thy continued existence. Hast thou no thought for what befalleth thy home star? Your attempts to provoke me will not succeed. I will follow my programming, fight, win, evolve, and then I will return to blip bloop. Error. Accurate rendering of the planetary label impossible in current mode of communication. Terminating exchange and returning to priority experiment. Alterations to equipment parameters detected. Recalculating projected combat capabilities. Blip complete. Now, I will now commence recording your practical performance. Proceed, Alpha Group. Overcome the obstacles in your path and reach the end of the course constructed for you. Seems we have our orders. Shall we cut a path through the chaff then? Ah, those are some nice cards, which means one moment. One moment, card, game, play. Play, you mean to play a part in proceeding this time? Of course that's what you meant. Well, we do have authorization to fight in this area of the rift, so I suppose there's nothing to stop you from joining us. Welcome aboard, Alpha. Hey, I thought Midgard Stormer could, like, translate. You kind of understand him. No avoiding this evaluation. Let's watch our step, though, eh? On your mark. Okay. Well, Biggs and Wedge disabled him last time. Alpha, mind that trap. Well, you're stuck for now. Just fight our way to it. Move along. It's like a transmat. More level checkers. What is this? Is it like an echo? And in this. Those are just lovely. Like attacking me with their elos. Yeah, little Alpha's attacking too. Nice. A sign of thy companions. Fight on, mortal. Yeah, we got separated. Oh, a timely trick. Thou didst mimic the action well. Over there, a flash of light. Okay? Okay, so they're coming. Right, are we ready to, apparently not. Fortunately for you, I came prepared for the occasion. Hehehe. What a perfect opportunity to field test my latest creation. Another gimmick battle. That looks familiar. Behold, Iron Nero, complete with the new and improved mighty Mjolnir gunhammer. Step aside, Garland, and bear witness to the devastation. They just keep coming, huh? Look at an AoE. These guys aren't even coming at all. They're just attacking Sid. That would be the last one. And another round. Yeah, it looks like a computer wallpaper from the 90s. Is VictorIsPerfect tanking? Finally, a proper challenge. I trust those tedious barriers are behind us. Dadaluma. Okay, well, I guess now we're gonna get ready to open them. It seems to be the end of them, and of the path as well. As far as operational duration goes, that was pushing the limit. Still, it should suffice. In between scrambling to stay out of the way of Nero's new toy, I found myself wondering about that card you used. Alpha, care to explain? He an astrologian? He boasted that it is but one of many tools at his disposal. Be not deceived by his appearance. Like all of Omega's creations, Alpha was chosen for his prowess in battle. Flip. Analysis complete. Results match revised projections. At this rate of improvement, you will fail to qualify as subjects of note. Midgardsormr, your parameters are notably inferior. Dost thou yet believe me the mighty worm I was in life? That incarnation perished long ago. My fate was sealed the moment I delivered my spawn unto this far-flung star. And they might be suffered to remain. I did offer up my life unto Heidelin, abiding thenceforth in spectral form, a servant to be summoned in her hour of need. Your account correlates with my records. It explains why I arrived on this planet only to find that my journey's purpose was lost. Of necessity, my priority shifted to repairs even as I searched for a new target of sufficient strength. Yet I still do not understand why you aid these creatures. I should think the reason plain, but mayhap 'tis not for a soulless machine such as thee. By thee and thine was my home laid waste. The sound of thee, thy very scent, visited upon me a tempest of rage, but I but lend these mortals what little aid I can render. Illogical. If your purpose is to facilitate my destruction, it would require an entity more powerful than you were at your prime. Without the means to muster such might, your presence here is meaningless. The experiment continues. Alpha Group, your next opponent awaits you within the Sigmascape. Enter and commence the contest. Sigmascape, okay. Are we gonna fight on the face? Because we fought on the castle the last time. That should do it. Our new base of operations is up and running. Now, what I'd really like to do is delve a little deeper into Omega's past, but as our dragon seems disinclined to indulge my curiosity, we had best focus on the task at hand. Let's get on with conquering the occupants of this Sigmascape, shall we? Oh, loud outside. No slowing down. Sid is ready to discuss your foray into the Sigmascape. Before you cross the threshold, we should take a moment to discuss where we stand. That is the test world you need to conquer, the Sigmascape. Is that a mask or a face? The castle was certainly a surprise, but this is verging on disturbing. And we currently have no idea what it might signify. My first instinct is to dive straight into our analysis. Problem being that without a reference point from within the Sigmascape to start from, we'll have no way of knowing if we're even analyzing the correct data. Which means you'll just have to go in blind. Hardly the best way to enter into a fight, but needs must and all that. Are you up for the challenge? Can I ask you to join our Alpha? We seem to be fine out here, but Zilly will need your authorization if she's to do battle inside the test world. Keep your wits about you, Savior. Your next opponent could be almost anything. I'm ready. Now we just need to take some food and stuff before we go in so we get some EXP. Quay. Alpha appears eager to proceed. You may enter Sigmascape version 1.0 whenever you are ready. You are once more summoned to Omega's rift between dimensions. This time conquer the denizens of the Sigmascape. With no spatial anchor to help pinpoint the correct segment of data, you are forced to enter the first battle bereft of any insightful analysis. Senses training and nerves taut, it's where you hear a high-pitched whistle echoing within the arena beyond. Ethereal Rift, Sigmascape version 1.0. Oh, train! We get to suplex the train. Still partially transparent. Zilly, we've located the correct data. Your opponent appears to be a train. Here it comes. Demon train. no idea about the mechanics in this fight. There's no need to run away from that thing, huh? What does a ghost do? It's like, because it's such a weirdly constructed stage, I can't even like see what anybody's supposed to be doing. Okay, that's not me. So that was me getting targeted. Diabolic headlamp. I know what a stack marker is. Find a way to banish them. So we have some ads. What are we supposed to do? Oh, we're supposed to use the lights on them? I don't understand. But no, we're playing blind, so... What are we supposed to do about all the goes? Is it a solo fight? Like a DPS check? Supposed to be doing. It's supposed to. I mean, I had that wind marker thing that never came down, so I guess we met some kind of check. I got a hit in on it. What are we supposed to be doing? We're supposed to get some kind of buff, a debuff. Okay. This one, I didn't realize. So far, so good. Okay, well that doesn't seem like it was too difficult. Hey. It was neat. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but... fun enough. Yay! Alright. I think we did alright for our first time. Traveler from afar, thank you for Doma. From Doma? Yeah, that was odd. Ghost! Thank the gods you're fast on your feet. When I first saw you be facing a train of all things, I assumed I was hallucinating. But with that oddness behind us, we can be fully certain we have the right set of data for the Sigmascape. From what we've been able to determine, this is a recreation of a devastated world. Unfortunately, we have not found any clues as to its origin. We came across several familiar terms, Doma included, but the arc of history is inconsistent with our own. Given that Omega draws from realms which could be fictional or even other dimensional, we can only guess at the source upon which the Sigmascape is based. But if it was fictional, it seems safe to assume that the author had a bad experience with a train. An unfinished masterpiece. Sid wishes to discuss your next opponent. I expect you're still recovering from your last fight, but we should probably go over the details of your next opponent all the same. According to our research, you'll be pitted against a foe known as Chatternook. Not a train this time, but some manner of animated painting. To be perfectly clear, the name refers more to the evil spirit that's taken up residence within the picture, but the picture part will be the key to our strategy. To that end, Nero has thrown together a little something I thought might be useful. They just like throwing gimmicks in, don't they? Thrown together, he says. Do you know how difficult it was to translate your abstract fancy into an actual tool with practical applications? What you demanded was nothing less than a miracle, and a miracle I have delivered. I seem to recall you insisting on constructing it yourself. Still, credit where credit's due. Well done. History will appreciate my genius. Ahem. To you I present the fruits of my labor, the chocobo brush. I won't confuse you by trying to explain how it works, but to suffice it to say that I have adapted the tool to combat the peculiar nature of your rival. Put simply, you will be able to directly influence the space around you by painting pictures. Naturally, this process will require paint. As for the color, subject, and efficacy of your masterpieces, well, that shall depend entirely upon your own artistic sense. Now back to you, Garland. Do you notice the absence of a steaming cup in my hand? If you truly valued the efforts of your colleagues, you might consider filling the bloody kettle from time to time. Or is that another task his lordship the chief can't accomplish without the help of his subordinates? Now listen here, Nero. I apologize for the damn kettle, but this has nothing to do with my upbringing. Like an old married couple. You gonna fill up the kettle? Next to the kettle is one of Alpha's cards, its face illustrated with a depiction of spring water. Quay? Alpha appears keen to begin the next encounter. You may enter Sigmascape version 2.0 whenever you are ready. Sigmascape version 2.0. Chatternook. According to Sid and Nero's research, such is the name given to your next devilish opponent. Had you not just won a battle against a spectral train, you might think the idea of a haunted painting absurd. Thankful for the inventive genius of your companions, you go forth armed with the chocobo brush, a tool specifically designed to help you overcome this bizarre encounter. Okay, so I've got to use this brush. Ethereal Rift, Sigmascape version 2.0. Ah, what a splendid atelier. Look around you, hero. Plenty of things in which to dip that brush. No clue how to use this brush thing. Okay, what do we use the brush on? Do we just like go to the paintings? You're supposed to do something about the paintings? I don't know what I'm doing. What am I supposed to be doing? Seems like it's a bit more complicated than I thought it would be. Or maybe I'm just overthinking it. Yeah, I have no clue what I'm supposed to be doing here. Oh, okay. Well, I figured there's enough people in here that somebody should know to do that. It's my first time playing through it, so. I just picked that one because it was colored. Okay. Well, I have no range, so. Okay, so it looks like you do the one in front of the painting. Okay. I get the gist of it. It seemed like we do a whole lot of damage to him. got 2 of them this time. Almost lost a snapshot on that one. Okay, I'm still not quite sure, but I think I get the gist of that. Okay, that was it, because the lady was in the background the whole time. We didn't even have to attack her. I think I like the train more. What say you, Sid? Welcome back. I was on the edge of my stool watching you attempt to paint whilst fighting, but you soon seemed to get the hang of it. I'm glad our makeshift solution worked as intended. Our makeshift solution worked as intended because I made it work. Painting is easy, as intending. I feel I should remind you, however, that the brush was very specifically designed with that arena and that foe in mind. Against aught else, it will avail you precisely as well as any other brush. One moment. Aye, this is Garland. That's great news, and... Oh, they did? Did they? Understood. We'll meet them out there. That was Jesse. Apparently Biggs and Wedge considered themselves well enough to pay us a visit. They're on their way to the yawn. Fancy a brief jaunt to the surface? No, thank you. I have data to analyze. Fine, just the 3 of us then. You leave me here alone? Really? Chief, Zilly, and Alpha too. We didn't mean to drag you all the way from your work. Nonsense, after all you've been through, how could we not come running? Speaking of which, should you even be walking? The Chirurgeon will probably want to have words with us later, but we couldn't just lie back and let you brave the rift on your own. Do you even have enough hands for that much work? Who's taking care of all the little jobs? Ah yes, the little jobs. It does seem that you two have spoiled me. I only recently learned that the kettle does not, in fact, fill itself. But we're muddling along somehow. Lily has been a pillar of strength as always. Alpha has proven to be a stalwart companion, and Nero has been invaluable and insufferable in equal measure. As for the test subjects themselves, they're certainly formidable, but Omega's experiment hasn't broken us yet. So go home, heal, and don't come back until you've fully recovered. It's good to hear that everything's going well, but you call us the moment anything goes wrong. We'll be out here in a wink, even if we have to crawl. Listen to me, Alpha. That uniform you're wearing makes you an official employee of Garland Ironworks. It means you can call on us whenever you're in trouble, and that we can call on you. It means you're not alone. Biggs and I have to go away for a while, so I want you to look out for Zilly and the Chief for us. All right. Okay. Oh, before I forget, we brought you something to put a spring in your step. You can't fight Omega's creations on field rations alone. Fusion of strength. Find intelligence, vitality. Go strength. More oomph. Nice to have more oomph. There he is. Left to his own devices. Now what have we... this next one seems strong but exhibits no other notable traits. How dull. True challenge is this fourth opponent, but if I can find the patterns hidden in the chaos, then knowledge and reason will prevail. Is it chaos? For even the most random actions are products of an underlying logic. One has but to isolate the behavioral triggers. They're pulling from old FF games, and I could see that. Blech, tastes like salt water. Why would... I need to take a closer look at that card. Something suspicious. Alpha Group shows signs of recovering from recent trauma, initiating action to maintain desirable stress levels. Not Nero, but he's a guy and helping. Like, not a friend or anything. Won't let you pass. Wedge is standing by to see you off. Alpha and the Chief have already gone back in, so don't let us keep you. Our colleague over there should be glad to help you make the descent as soon as you're ready. This dreadful experiment may have a way to go yet, but if you keep taking it one battle at a time, you'll be fighting Omega before you... I mean, it will all be over before you know it. Didn't we just jump in, like the first time? Can I lower you into the rift, madam? That may not be much use in battle, but I can at least do you this small service. Yeah, let's move. Like, this is what we're doing. Let's do it. Ah, back, are you? We should return to the task at hand. Everything all right, Nero? You look a bit green around the gills. The kettle was full of salt water, not the best stuff to brew coffee with, it turns out. Really? Well, it wasn't my doing. Of course not. That would involve you filling it. The water came from Alpha, created by one of those cards of his. It was very thoughtful of him to make the effort, but next time I'd prefer a beverage that didn't leave me feeling ill. In any case, you can handle support for this third battle on your own. I want to begin preparations for the fourth. Fair enough. Right, your next foe is known simply as the Guardian. Unlike that ordeal with Chatternook, this battle promises to be relatively straightforward. Courage and steel should be enough to win you the day. I said we'll look up how to do them all properly after we're done. Eventually, probably. Alpha seems concerned about Nero, but otherwise eager to proceed. You may enter Sigmascape version 3.0 whenever you are ready. Known simply as the Guardian, this foe is described by Sid as the machine responsible for defending a capital city. As a creation of otherworldly engineering, it is impossible to know exactly what weapons it will bring to bear, only that this will be a contest of force versus overwhelming brute force. Okay. Let's hope the thing doesn't crap out on me again. Ethereal Rift, Sigmascape version 3.0. The Guardian will transition between a host of different combat programs. Try to keep track of which does what. Alright. simulation. Okay, I see those. Where are the other ones? They're not in the path of any, huh? We gotta stand in these, don't we? Come on, there's still some other ones. And has nobody played Crystal Tower? We're supposed to take the ad out first. Like, usually you would take the ad out first. Get out in time. That's two stacks to beef up. Tentacle simulation. We have to take him out, right? Otherwise he's gonna turn us into things. Oh no! I had to get that last hit in. Did he turn us into imps? Need 3 in this one. Are they coming? Yeah, they got it. Why didn't that guy who was right here get at them? It might be his first time too, so I don't know. Not fast enough. Keep getting all these debuffs. Now I'm stunned. I don't know if I should be focusing the ads or not. I don't really have time to read what you guys are saying, I'm sorry. Alright, limit break him right now. I'm gonna be in the middle of it while he's doing a mechanic. Oh, he stopped me. I don't know his mechanics, so I probably shouldn't have been the one to be doing it, but the other melee wasn't going for it, so. I don't know, I like that one. Different. I don't remember what game he's from, though. There's been several with paintings, if I'm not mistaken, so. We need this. We're gonna get them all. I don't think I'll have any use for the gear, not with tombstone gear, and I don't need the company seals either. But might be able to descent them into something useful. Congratulations, old friend. Judging by the lack of smoking holes, I'd say you have a natural talent for avoiding laser beams, and this is what passes for a straightforward battle in here. Phantom trains possess pictures, and now this Magitech-like machine, assuming it was real, the realm of the Sigmascape is based on, must have been highly advanced in both the arcane and the mechanical arts. It's truly a pity we cannot identify the test world's origin. Imagine how much we might have learned from such a civilization had we encountered it under different circumstances. But now is not the time for such idle thoughts. Next battle will be last for this world, and Nero should have a strategy to share with us by now. The World of Ruin. Test World of Ruin. Nero seems unusually anxious to move things along. This is it, the final battle to conquer the Sigmascape. We've put together a profile of your next opponent. You've encountered some fantastical foes in here, but this time you'll have a novel experience of fighting an actual person. His name is Kefka, and he's a jester. We get to fight Kefka, nice. According to the data, his preferred mode of fooling didn't just bring the house down, but the whole world. Apparently he found comedy in the tragedies of others and condemned countless thousands to death for his own amusement. I mean, it did say World of Ruin, so it makes sense. That a jester should bring such misery, 'tis almost amusing. Nevertheless, we must treat this villain with all seriousness. His rise to godhood and subsequent rule over a shattered world is clearly documented in the records. Kefka is a formidable mage and a cunning one besides. Your tactics must account for both his power and his trickery. You've been working on a solution, yes? Will it be enough? Will it be enough? Have you ever known me to do anything by halves? The jester's face paint is a mask for his intent. If you only watch the surface, you'll be fighting at a disadvantage. Put it bluntly, Kefka will seek to deceive you. Even as you predict his actions and adjust your position, his true attack will reveal the feint for what it was. This is where things become interesting. I have tuned this monitor to allow me to observe the Sigmascape with greatly enhanced clarity. If I observe a discrepancy between Kefka's behavior and the impending attack, I will endeavor to warn you. The timing will be critical, of course. How confident are you of this strategy? I predict a 50% chance of success. Any delay, however slight, in reacting to his feints will render my warnings all but pointless. Isn't it exciting? There is no safe way to practice this, hero, but we must test our tactics on the field of battle. I'm afraid he's right. I'll lend you all the support I can from this side. Make what preparations you need and head into the Sigmascape. We can't let this jester have the last laugh. Embrace your destruction. It is the fate of all things. The people can always rebuild and new lives will always be born. Fragmented conversation that accompanied Kefka's data. His was the first line, but there was no mention of who uttered the reply. You admire this villain? In life there is always hope. Perhaps I admire the idea of upsetting the status quo. Go on, champion. I tire of waiting for the fun to begin. We know it did something to him, we just don't know what yet. Quay. Alpha is clearly poised to spring into action. You may enter Sigmascape version 4.0 whenever you are ready. Progress. Sigmascape version 4.0. The looming face of the Sigmascape. Kefka will be your final opponent in this test world. Analysis of his data reveals that, despite his comical appearance, this cackling jester once rose to godhood and cast his entire planet into ruin. His is a power not to be underestimated. Nero has also alerted you to the villain's propensity for trickery and promised to watch for deadly feints through his enhanced monitor. You can only hope that his warnings come in time. This piece, it seems he has drawn inspiration from his recent visits to the Far East. Now close your eyes and float upon the calm motion of music. Let your worries be carried away by the waves as they swell and recede, swell and recede. Clear your mind and allow new vistas to unfold. Hear, feel, and ponder their mysteries. Right, Sigmascape. Yeah, we're still a ways away from doing Savage. Let's see if it's added anything else to the records. Military Officer Record 1. Blip Buzz. Military Division, designation 151737, initial archive recording for the Omega Enterprise is the year 1098 of the Alakan Empire. Campaign in the southern continent of Mericidia has succeeded in revitalizing our ailing society, stagnant as it was from long years of peaceful reign. The expansion effort itself, however, has encountered unexpected resistance. Rather than submit, the beast clans of these southern lands have begun performing rituals to call forth their tribal deities. One such god is proving particularly troublesome, the resurrected form of the worm Bahamut. Though we dispatched this formidable creature once already, the prayers of its worshippers have returned it to life with a power orders of magnitude greater than before. We must be thankful, then, for the grand vision of our Emperor. In his infinite wisdom, he sees potential value in even the most deadly of foes. Capture and containment of icons has proven well within our capabilities, and such will be the fate of Bahamut. We shall imprison this entity along with its faithful and siphon its energy to fuel our latest technologies. At present, the Emperor leads his Nightfall Company in an inexorable advance across the continent, and the battle shifts in our favor even as the crystal supplies of our enemies continue to dwindle. If we are to strike at the Worm God, there will be no better time. Omega is the key to victory. We will awaken the weapon sealed away in centuries past, commanded to subdue the unsuspecting Bahamut. History shall know this moment as the Omega Enterprise. Record 2. Blip Buzz. The details of the Omega Enterprise will be documented in a separate archive. This recording is concerned with the nature of Omega itself. The weapon is ancient, a relic from beyond the stars that was discovered around the time of our first Emperor's passing. Research into Omega's properties was responsible for incredible leaps in the field of etherochemistry. 400 years ago, however, towards the end of Alec's technological revolution, this research was deemed complete. Omega was subsequently placed in temporal stasis. The truth of the matter was not that there was naught left to learn, rather that we had abandoned our efforts to fully comprehend Omega's function. We had gleaned much from the relic and understood many of its basic operations, but we were never permitted to analyze its internal structure or determine the identity of its creators. All attempts to gain full control of the machine appear to have failed. Now, centuries later, we have rediscovered how completely the true power of Omega exceeds our wildest imaginings. Even with its stasis systems activated, Omega retained a measure of autonomy. Deprived of the mobility, the weapon continued to scan the world around it, searching for a threat to engage. It was at the time of Bahamut's resurrection when Omega emitted a unique signal, a signal which appeared to indicate the acquisition of a target, and we first discovered that the machine had retained some degree of awareness. Records were consulted, and we concluded that Omega was more than a match for the God Worm's strength, and if the weapon had already identified Bahamut as a priority threat, then it would be a simple matter to command it to capture the icon. The risk was deemed acceptable, and thus we executed the Omega Enterprise. As predicted, Omega triumphed over its prey. We secured Bahamut and eventually succeeded in returning the weapon to its former stasis, an effort from which the ranks of both our military and research divisions have yet to recover. Blip Buzz. Okay. Closing session. Thank you for your visit, Blue.